All right.
Okay.
There
We're here.
we
We're
go.
live. Hello, world.
Here we go. Yeah. Live and in
see-
person. We're back.
We're
2 weeks in
back.
a
We
row.
are.
We got a streak going.
One of these days, we're going to have to just to begin with. Right. And that was the show then. Just
Yeah.
to freak everybody out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You know,
we
I
don't need to
stinker.
pretend to do that. We've done it.
We did do it.
We've
Yeah.
literally done it. Like, all right, let's get into the show. I'll never forget that. I look at the chat. Did it just end?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Never seen you create a show so quickly. Ready for the next one.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah.
That was what was funny. You were impressed with that. You're like, you didn't miss a beat. I'm like, well, yeah, you got to do it. I've made. We're coming up on 500 of these things. So,
man,
500 shows.
Yeah, has that time gone?
Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. It's
doesn't feel a minute over 499 shows.
No. Yeah. I was wondering if anybody, if any discerning listeners noticed when I put out the show number earlier this weekend, the other day when I put it out 490. What did I put it? 492? Because ours was 491. So what, because last week I think was 490, and now we're at 491, 492. So we're cooking away. On our way to 500. Yeah.
So are we hoping to line those up with a certain show?
Oh my God. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Because you can't do it easily. You've got to make extra difficult stuff for yourself.
Of course. Yeah, but there's a reason for it, and I'll tell you later. Or we'll disclose it I'll tell you later, but we'll disclose it in the live in the 25-hour show. But I'd seen that coming since the summer, and I've known, but I just been like, I'm trying to line that up. But yeah, it's gonna happen one way or the other. I'm gonna make it happen. So yeah, it's
good. All right,
yeah.
How you doing anyway, buddy? You okay?
Yeah, getting ready. Taking off tomorrow. Joe is getting married on Saturday. And my little boy is all grown up. Kinda.
So who's older, Meg or Joe?
Joe's
right. Okay.
He's 28 this year. She's 26.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So they've been they left last week. They're doing a cross country trip in a RV. Joe and Kayla, his wife to be, and Meg and Greg are all, and they're giant, like Saint Bernard, I think it is, or whatever.
Have they got Saint Bernard? We call it.
Oh,
but
whatever.
Have they got a Saint Bernard?
Ernie.
You would call it?
Ernie is Kayla's dog that she's had, and he's actually in the wedding too.
Okay, well, if it's a Saint Bernard, you can't keep them out. They're so big.
Yeah, he's let me see if I can find
yeah, man. We used to have two of them.
Let me see.
My parents had two, Petra and Carson. And Carson was the boy, and he weighed over 20 stone. So he weighed more than a full-size rugby player here. And he would chase you down the garden, put his paws around your legs, trip you to the floor, and then sit on you. And you could not move. He was ginormous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's huge. And but yeah, he met they sent pictures and stuff. They're like, he met a tumbleweed, not impressed. It's just sitting there on the ground.
The worst part about a Saint Bernard, I mean, when they drink, of course, they slobber and they drool, and then when they shake their heads, it just goes everywhere. So that RV, they're going to need some serious cleaning at the end of that.
Yeah, he's not. Let me see. Did that picture save? Let me see. I don't know if you'd call me. I don't think he's a Saint Bernard per se. I can't remember what he is. He's big. He's huge.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's a dog. He's a lot of dog. Actually,
he's a whole lot of dog.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Let's see. So bearing in mind, at one point in Spain, we had 27 dogs.
What?
Yeah. We had
Country or
27. No. At one time, bear in mind we lived up in the mountains. We had 27 dogs, about 20 chickens, 3 parrots. We had a mule called Muffin. English listeners will know why that is. Bernie's mountain dog.
Burton. There you go. Bernie's mountain dog. Thank you.
I knows me dogs.
Yep. So
they're still big.
Yeah, that's Ernie. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's huge.
Ernie the Bernie's mountain dog.
Yeah.
I like it.
And that's him outside their little RV. So,
cool.
But yeah. Yep.
That is very, very cool. Until he sees something and then runs away and takes the table with him.
Yeah, when they sent that picture, I go, they weren't dumb enough to tie him to that little table, were they?
That's not gonna last.
Because there goes dinner.
They say when we had these two. This was in New Zealand, and we had them briefly in Spain. But they they'd come in the middle of the night and get on the bed. And, we were only young kids at the time. Yeah. And, one of them would get on the bed and that's it. You were in their bed. They're not in yours.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't move them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That used to be an experience in and of itself. But, great dogs.
Yeah. It was. Meg sent one message from the trip. She's like, word of advice when you have a 12-hour drive and 4 people sharing the same air, don't eat bologna.
Yeah, fair. It's just very antisocial.
Yeah. Well, things get antisocial very quickly.
Oh,
like, who was that? Yeah. Well, I think that's why they brought Ernie. Like, it was the dog.
Well,
the poor dog the whole time's like, I haven't done a damn thing.
If it's appropriate to share it, and I will very quickly. So in Spain, one of these things in the middle of winter, it was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. We went to see some friends, pitch black, and we were in their kind of little front room up in the mountains. And my brother who was 4 years older than me, had eaten something he probably shouldn't have done. And we were in there with these sort of friends of ours and their dog, which was an Alsatian, like a German Shepherd. And Chris, his stomach was not agreeing with him, and let's just say his stomach was making its presence known. And he didn't say anything and didn't make a noise. And they blamed the dog and kicked the dog out in the cold.
Oh.
And he didn't say a word. To this day, I'm sure that dog's like, what the hell?
What did I do?
Yeah, man.
Yep. Hey.
But anyway, there we go. Yep. Jordan says he wants to watch Beethoven now. Good man, Jordan.
There you go. Yep.
Well, at least he said, you know what? He said Beethoven. He could have said Cujo. So I'm glad he chose Beethoven.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've got that in 4K, actually. I've got the Kino Lorber version of that. That's a hard watch, that film. That's a tricky watch, that one.
Yeah.
And Stephen King, for a long time, kind of disowned that book because of the movie.
Cujo?
Yeah. He didn't. For a long time, it wasn't in his bibliography. At the start of his novels, and I think it's because of the film and some of the things that happened behind the scenes with the animals in that film.
Oh,
and he kind of disowned it. But anyway, well done, Jordan. Beethoven. That's the better saying.
There we go. Yeah.
Anywho,
so what was your question?
Right. Okay. All right.
You said you had a question.
Question. Here is the question. Right.
There we go.
Okay.
Bacon.
We're not popping the question. Obviously, Joe's already done that.
Yep.
So tonight or this evening, for me anyway, on X and on Twitter, bad news has surfaced in the movie world, at least as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. So we saw Predator, Hunter of Hunters, or whatever it was, earlier in the year, or Killer of Killers, whatever it was. Really good. Yeah. And we've been eagerly awaiting Predator Badlands, which is out in November, so a month or so from now. Today, word has reached us via X that it's going to be a PG-13. Now, this will be the first standalone Predator movie that is a PG-13. Previously, the first Alien versus Predator was PG-13. So first standalone Predator movie is a PG-13. So my question is this. Does the rating of a movie you've never seen make a difference as to whether you'd want to see it or not?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no. So it wouldn't matter what it was, if they say they're going to do the, I don't know, the Ed Gein story, and it's going to be a PG, we've got no problem with that.
Yeah, well, I doubt that would ever happen, but way to go to the extreme to make your point.
Well, hey, to the extreme.
Um, but it's like it probably if it was PG, it meant it was a documentary and they weren't going to
Mhm,
reenact anything, right? So
mhm,
that's what,
yeah.
and you'd still be like, hey, are they going to show any? If I'm interested in that, then yeah, probably not. I
Mm.
wouldn't affect it. Yeah, no, I've had this discussion with people before, and they're like, that was horrible. They should have made it rated R. Why? So you get a little bit more graphic and you get some swears in there, and now you're entertained. But the story, the story is a story. You could tell a
Mm.
story in any rating. And if this, you know what I mean? Like, you can't take a really good movie and I don't know, if it's written well, it doesn't matter the rating. You know what I mean? You don't need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. And it's like, just like there's comedians that would say the same thing. Like
Mm,
sometimes it works, sometimes, it's like you look at like what like a Jerry Seinfeld and stuff like that. He doesn't go and he doesn't swear, he doesn't do all this,
mhm,
but he keeps it clean. But then there's other people where it really works. It's their style, and it's like, okay, so they're gonna the topics they talk about, it lends itself to that, or their personality lends itself to more
mhm.
swearing or something that would be give you a rated R, like an Eddie Murphy, something like that
Well,
you'd
that's
be
what I
like,
was, yeah, just thinking of then, yeah, as you
yeah,
said, that raw and
yeah.
delirious. Yeah,
Yeah,
mhm,
and it's like and it's like Eddie Murphy brought that up in Raw talking about Bill Cosby, and he's like, "Oh, you don't need to be doing that." And then Eddie Murphy says, "Yeah, we'll have, what do you say? Something about it, have a Coke and a effing smile or something like that, right?"
and shut the F up. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it's like, but yeah, no, that stuff doesn't bother me. Um, and even in a Predator movie, Alien or a Predator movie, it's what are you gonna, it's going to be a little less graphic, and that's it. It's like it doesn't have to look at. We just talked about Jaws last week,
Yeah,
right?
uh-huh, mhm,
Or Ara and I did, right? And it was like
mhm.
talking about that. And it's like all of the scary stuff was off screen, so that's how you can get a better rate. I think Jaws R, or was
Well, over
that might
here,
have
it was
been
a PG. It
PG.
was a PG. Yeah, it was.
PG,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So there
Mhm,
you go. So Jaws is a
mm,
horror movie that's PG because they scared the crap out of you by just suggesting what you
yes.
were going to see, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think like, and I think your version, as always, Deej, you are the voice of reason. Whereas me,
there's a lot of people going, "What happened?"
you don't know him very well.
Yeah. It's like,
Well, to me, you see, to me, it does matter, and I'll be honest now. It has made me less likely to now see Badlands in theaters, and I may not, I may literally just wait for it to hit disc if it ever hits disc, of course, because there's no sign of Hunter of Hunters or Killer of Killers, whatever it was.
yeah.
That there's no sign of that in 4K yet, and we've got no info on that either behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. Um, so I am now less likely to want to see it. But I put this down to my horror background and being a horror fan, the best horror movies.
Yeah.
Jaws accepted, but I'm not sure Jaws is a horror movie. But it's getting there, but it's not quite. But when I think of horror movies, I want something that's going to push the envelope, that is going to make me, whatever, be it entertained, afraid, happens
Yeah.
rarely, but to me the rating does go hand in glove with that, and horror movies that are PG-13 immediately start moving me away from wanting to see them. And I
Yeah.
must admit, and I see what's being said in the chat, guys. I hear what they're saying is, well, it's all predator blood, it's all green, so therefore it's
Yeah.
not red, therefore the MPAA may not have
Yeah.
such an issue with it. But I still, I mean, having seen Prey, and Prey's a hard R, great, blood
Yeah.
and guts aplenty. Whereas this, has immediately sent me on is this going to be like Men in Black rather than, like
Right.
Prey? And I am concerned, is what I would say. So we will see, but I think it does affect how I would view certain things. Not everything has to be an R. We may talk about a U-rated movie in a bit, or a general one. It's a G.
Yeah.
We may talk about one of those in a bit that I saw and I really, really enjoyed. Not everything has to be, but there are certain subjects, certain genres of movie that I personally think should be an R. or over here it's an 18, or a 15, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, Dom's coming up with some good points there. He says he doesn't fully agree. He said
we both keep trying to do it.
Yeah. So he said he can't imagine a PG-13 Die Hard or Kill Bill.
Right.
But shortly thereafter, undoes his own argument with, but Live Free or Die Hard was PG-13 and thought it was all right. We disagree on that, Dom. I absolutely hated Live Free or Die Hard.
But here's the other part is where he said, like, don't fully agree. I can't imagine a PG-13 Die Hard or Kill Bill. It's but that wasn't the question. Was, does it change a movie you haven't seen?
Yeah,
right.
Indeed.
We've already seen Die Hard, so you can't imagine exactly that, Dom. You can't imagine going back now. Now, Die Hard, I could actually imagine going back. Like, if it never existed, if that was PG-13 from the beginning, it'd be like, come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs. It'd be like yippee-ki-yay, buddy. And then the elevator would close. You'd never know the difference, right?
Yeah.
It would, those lines would still sell. Okay. You can still drop a guy off a building. You just don't show it. There's a lot of stuff in Die Hard that could have gone either way and still been PG-13 and it'd still be the movie that it was. That I can imagine. Where I agree with you is Kill Bill. I mean, you're going there to see a slice fest and you're going there to see, that. And exactly like you said, Steve, it's like you as a horror fan, you're going to see the gore. I mean, you've said on the show, like, that guy didn't die hard enough. He didn't die enough. Like, what? So it's like, I see that, like, if it's a PG-13 horror movie, you're like, this isn't for me. This is a kid's horror movie, right? You want the blood, the guts, and the gore. That's what you're there for. You want to see how realistic they can make it and how, what is it? Terrifier 1 through 122, you're dying to see. It's like,
yes,
you know what I mean? Like, and if it's R is almost like too little. You want the NC-17, the unrated, it's like, so I understand that. But again, like a Predator movie, like they're saying here, it's like, maybe there aren't any humans that are getting killed, so they can get away with a little bit more, Look at how many people got killed in Star Wars. That was PG.
Like, true. Well, indeed. Yes.
Probably a whole planet. That's got to be at least millions of people.
But no blood. Even when Luke gets his hand cut off, this is the thing. This is why one wonders if this is why the lightsabers were put in there. Instant cauterizing, no blood. It's all fine. Is there any? I mean, you see a little dusting of blood in Phantom Menace when Darth Maul gets cut in half.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, people. There is a very faint, fine mist of blood. You see it very quickly, and then it's gone, and it's almost blink and you'll miss it. It's almost subliminal. But that's about the only time you really see blood, I think, in the whole of the Star Wars, if I remember rightly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
and you're shot with lasers, so that's cauterized. It's the same thing. Yeah. And it's like, I remember as a kid, I didn't even know stormtroopers were people when it first came. I was like, are those just robots? What are they? I didn't know. You never, the only way it didn't, I just thought, okay, well, Han and Luke just took the guts out of the inside and put the shells on. I don't know. You didn't know as a little kid, you didn't know as the older people, and that's where you could probably get away with that. Why you can get away with PG. Like, little kids won't know the difference. And the bigger kids will be like, oh, those are people. I don't know. But yeah, that stuff, I mean, on a movie I haven't seen, that doesn't affect me. That doesn't affect me.
Like I say, voice of reason, Deej, voice of reason, buddy. I'm definitely less keen on seeing Badlands now, and it I appreciate that it's down to me, but I just I don't know. There's certain expectations that come with a Predator movie, and gratuitous violence is one of them. But in my view,
you don't say, Steve.
Well, welcome to me. Actually, talking about Die Hard, I mean, we can imagine a sanitized version. I mean, have you ever seen the TV edit of Die Hard?
Probably.
Have you seen that where you
see it on regular TV?
Muddy Funster.
Oh no, I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They drop all of that. Yep. Yeah. You get all these kind of really bad, changes to the dialogue where they televised it or televisionized it, and it's it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got some things at you. So Andrew Panner, hey Andrew, says
Andrew.
Predator has to be R-rated. Good man. It's like having a PG Deadpool. Yeah. Well, we might get that next Christmas with Doomsday, of course, because if Deadpool is in Avengers Doomsday, and rumor has it that he is, then of course you ain't going to get any swearing in that. So that'll be weird as well. That's another one where you've got certain expectations from that character now because of what we've seen. So if he's in there minding his P's and Q's, it'll be very odd.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think if he's in like an ensemble cast, you wouldn't really notice it as much. And and they'll make a joke about it somewhere, but it's like where it's not his movie, it's probably it'll probably be a little different. But and that'll keep us entertained too. Be like, what's he gonna do? How's it gonna play? Gives us something to talk about. Because we're always short for things to talk about when it comes to stuff like that.
Always. Always. Alrighty. But so we'll see. I mean, it might be great. I don't know, but I genuinely am now less enthused about seeing it. And I'm not alone from the denizens of X.
Well, and it also gives you an opportunity to have a special edition later, unrated version, director's cut,
is very
all
true.
That fun stuff, and be like, and they're not going to release that until like a year after the Blu-rays all come out and the 4Ks and everything. And be like, and now look, it's like, geez.
And then IMAX enhanced.
Yep. Yeah. It's like they know market to us. I mean, come on.
Just so clever.
It's all they care about, Steve, is money. It's just why can't they just do this the right way for us the first time and save us all that money? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Give it to us for free.
Yeah, exactly. They tried. They called it streaming. And
yeah. Alrighty, should we start the show then?
Yeah, and let's not end it. All right. Let's see. Somehow we're gonna. We are Brightside Home Theater. Hey, home theater nerds. Welcome to Brightside Home Theater Podcast, the multi-award-winning home theater podcast. It's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the multi-award-winning scenes. Never gets old.
Yeah, it never gets old. I was listening back to last week's show when I was editing it. I'm like, I totally effed up. Speaking of rated R, totally effed. I didn't even know it. I effed up the open. I didn't totally F it up, but it was like, hey, home theaters, welcome to the Bright Side Home Theater Podcast. Never even knew I did that. Never even heard it. Never anything like that. And I was like, listening to it, I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? How did I do it? And then how did I forget I did it or not hear it? I thought I nailed it last week. Nope. And you didn't call me on it.
Yeah, man, I was being circumspect.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, I gotta start writing this stuff down.
Oh man, the fun is in the flubs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, we get those every week.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, here we are then. All right. Well, let's say hi to everyone in the chat then, because we've been talking for a little bit. So and there's some good points being made.
3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, man. So we've got so Captain AC3 was first in after a certain Brightside Home Theater.
There were people in before that.
Oh, it reset again, did it?
It reset, yeah. So I must have been the last one because there were people already in at the time. I forget who it was. It might have been Dom. I forget. Somebody, Dom and Mikey. Somebody said congratulations to the person that was first. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
And then I said good morning, everyone. Yeah.
Well, now you get to be first.
There you go.
Okay, so Captain AC3's in. Hey, Captain, my Captain. Then Dom after that saying, nice to hear the newest Takeover Tuesday. So everyone that's listening, they're back. They're back. And there's a very cool one with Ara, which is well worth listening to. I'm about an hour into it myself. Very, very good. Maybe there's some edits. Who can say? But otherwise, it's all good. Enough said.
Yep.
Steve adds in. Hey, Steve. Scruffy's in. Hey, Scruffy. How you doing? Eric Ridgely's in. Hey, Eric. We've got Rach is in. Hey, Rach. Jordan is in as well. Hey, Jordan. Marcus Beebe. Hey, Marcus. Then Dom mentioned about the Nightmare on Elm Street box sets, which is kind of coming out in 4K. So yeah, very nice. I'm glad to hear Jordan say that there are coming in individual ones, because I would only buy the first 3. I've got the first one in 4K. The other, then I'd buy 2 and 3. I don't need the box set. The rest are not that great, in my view. And then we've got Old School Kung Fu Films is in. Hey, buddy. Ariel Alanis dropping in from X as per usual. We've got Blind Guy coming in. Hey, buddy. Nelson's in. Actually, I'll tell you what, a fair few. TSG's in. Hey, TSG, local boy. Talking about the X-rated version of RoboCop. That is fantastic. That is very, very, very violent. Great.
Yeah.
Love that one. Yeah. And then Andrew Panner, we mentioned. Hey, Andrew. John Mansour's in. Hey, John. And Paul's in. Oh, hey, Paul. Says, so sorry I'm missing tonight. I'm playing a gig. He says, you look great. I just can't hear a word you're saying. Can you talk up? Do we need to talk louder?
Sign that we need that sign language person in the corner.
Gotta get it done. But so all good. Yeah, man, not bad. And the numbers, nice. Looking good for so early in the show.
Yeah.
So yes, all good. The gang are all here.
There we go. All right. All right. We ended last week's show. You heard a little bit about it with Ara and I at the beginning of that show about the JVC coming back at Epson. And we ended the show, and I had gotten a text during the show. I got a text from Travis, and he's like, breaking news, blah, blah. I sent you an email, but because we covered a lot last week, so I didn't even get to the anything. I didn't see anything off of what we were talking about, right? So I look, and I'm like, I got that. I got Joe Klosnick had emailed me. JVC sent it to me as well. But all these comments, and then Paul Hurt commented later in the week. It was like, yeah, it's people, hearing about it, and it's, resonating. And I was like, oh, that would have been a kind of, and that's the one we were talking about that I didn't use the names, but I was just like, but yeah, that was the conversation. And it was, and then I've talked to a few people about it since then. And yeah, some people were like not really understanding, like, why would JVC say that and this, but it was mostly people that hadn't seen the demonstration really. And it was like, oh, let me explain to you what it was. It's, it's like one of the ones, I think it was Joe and I talked about it too. I believe he did see it, but I was saying, like, they're trying to, their marketing was, Joe was the one that mentioned that their marketing was to go after the large displays, right? Like, how do you compete against that? So I said, and I'm like, then why are you comparing? If you're marketing this projector to go after the larger displays, why are you comparing yourself to other projectors? You do a demo with those large displays, right? Get into a darkened room, put those large displays that can only go up to 100, maybe 110 inches that are like $15,000, and then put your 150-inch projector next to it and say, see, it equals in brightness, and look at that, and it's the same price. There's your competition, right? What are you doing? Why are you, instead you go up against projectors that are meant to do something completely different than yours. And they did their job really well, and Epson does their job really well. That's exactly what they're going after. Perfect. Then do that. Don't compare yourself to something else that's doing a job really well. It's just a different job, because now and what I didn't like is they were trying to educate the consumer and say that brightness was better, and that's not always the case. Right. That doesn't answer the question to every problem. It's like, if you have a light controlled room, you might not need that kind of brightness. And but if you have a media space and the lights are on, this is the answer for you. The JVC and the Sony wouldn't be as good at that. But again, like anything else you do in home theater, there's compromise. If you want to nail this, you're not going to be as good at this. If you're going to do that, you're not going to be as good at the first thing. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. You know, if you have all the money, get both. And believe me, I've seen it. It's like people do that, or they'll put the large display and then have a drop down screen in front of it. People have done that. So if you're going to do that, why not just get 2 projectors, 1 screen, 2 projectors, and you throw your light cannon up for when all the lights are on, and you throw your cinema projector on when you dim the lights, and boom, there you go. So yeah. And I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun to see JVC come out that way. And their last line, let me see if I can find it. I really liked their last line in the thing. It was really good. It's like with JVC. Where was it? Our focus remains on innovation, integrity, and ensuring customers have the facts they need to make informed decisions. But yeah, so the last paragraph in it was, we apologize for making statements regarding one of the industry competitors whom we hold in high regard. Nevertheless, we felt it necessary to provide these facts regarding the presentations made by Epson at the recent trade show event. We welcome fair comparisons based on accurate data because we believe our products speak for themselves. Our focus remains on innovation, integrity, and ensuring customers have the facts they need to make informed decisions. So yeah, and it was like, and there were a bunch of things that they said, Epson's like, we did this out of the box, we hit reset, blah, blah, and like JVC's like, well, once you do that, everything's all the things that make ours great are done. It's not there. So it's again, that changes the view as well. So yeah, another thing I said, anytime you see comparisons like that, well, like, this is what it looks like out of the box. We're comparing these 2 projectors out of the box. No, you want to compare something. You want them both calibrated for the situation that you're buying it for.
Yep.
Right. It's like, I have this room. I need to see what a projector calibrated for this room is going to look like. Which one does the better job of that? Neither one. Like I said, I'm not saying Epson's projector is bad. It's not. It's great. I'd seen it the day before at Brett's thing, and it was gorgeous, calibrated. And it was in a light controlled room. But it's when you're trying to, what really irks me is when you're trying to educate people that don't know, and you keep throwing around that light cannon, or you need brighter is better, because we hear it all the time here. It's like, get this one. It's like, it's super bright. Okay, but you might not need that. So
yeah. It's just one thing, isn't it, to consider amongst a lot of different things. Yeah, it's interesting that it's built up some traction, isn't it? I mean, it's not often you have kind of major brands trading barbs like that. And interesting that, I mean, JVC sound like they're taking the high road a bit, the moral high ground. We've heard it. We don't agree with you, but that's fine. Yeah. You can be the distinguished competition. Fine.
And to be fair, I don't think Epson meant it as like a bar, like to go after them, because they did say in their presentation, they're like, hey, we respect them. We don't want them to go. But this is what we are trying to present in both. And it's like, that I get, but it didn't look good. And it wasn't the comparison that bothered me. It was the education of, you need brighter. And that's, it's like, no, and especially if you need brighter, their demonstration was in a light controlled room. They dimmed it down. All the lights, everything went black. It was great. And you're like, well, then that's not what like I said. And I watched the scene. I'm going to talk about it later, but I watched that scene over again from F1. And I was like, watching it in here in the calibrated room. And I'm like, yeah, look how dark this scene is. And now every time I see that scene, I'm thinking of Epson. I'm like, it looked like a sunny day. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I said, it's interesting. I mean, and again, I think generally there's not a lot of that goes on in the industry, is there? Not kind of open criticism like that. It doesn't seem to be. I mean, everyone's always comparing everything to everything else, but there doesn't seem to be that much open criticism, as it were, of each other's brands
Right.
that I can see anyway. I mean, I mean, I never go to the trade shows. The last one I went to was the one in Bristol where I met John Thompson for the first time, in fairness, but I only came along at the end of the show for the drinks. So so I don't spend a lot of time with people like that, or on these trade show floors, but I get the impression that there is a degree of kind of acceptance and respect amongst these manufacturers, and someone had their nose slightly put out of joint, didn't they? Hence this response.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And and that's the thing. It's like, I think it's happened before. People have done comparisons and they've done, but that's more for the consumer and us, the YouTubers, where you see the one where they did it, what was it? The Kansas City shootout or whatever they did a couple of years ago, where they did 8 projectors. And that to me was probably the best. I know Michael was involved with that one, Youth Man. And but it was blind, blind testing, but they had a Mad VR in line. It was before Mad VR existed as is today, but it was the Mad VR computer version, right? And so basically they had a video processor in line on all these projectors. And that to me was the most realistic projector shootout I've seen ever, because they calibrated them all for the room. They gave them a fair shake on what each of them could do by taking the processing out and said, here's what you can do with these projectors. And that's where people were like, I mean, blind testing, people were like, that's a $30,000 projector. That's a $2,500 projector. Where's the difference? And at the end of the day, I'll tell you where the difference is. The processing in the 30,000, you take that Lumagen or the video processor out, that's going to look way better than a $2,500 one. But the education of what these things can do, it's all in the processing. What do you need, and what the brightness and stuff like that. It's like, that was a light cannon going up against a $2,500 projector on a 100-inch screen at the same throw distance. That's the education people need. You didn't need a light cannon to shoot that. You know what I mean? Once you calibrate that light cannon down, you understand that it's like, hey, that $2,500 projector was all you needed at that distance and that size. Right. And that to me that's the kind of education people need. That's what people would. And once you see that, you go, oh my God, instead of spending $20,000, I'll spend $4,000 and get a video processor and have like a 20, you basically get the same thing damn close to what you had at, if your throw distance and your screen size will accommodate a quote unquote, dimmer projector. So. But yeah.
I mean, there are absolutely times, and Aro touched on it during the Takeover Tuesday, and I know we've spoke about it before, where a brighter light cannon, whatever you want to call it, the brighter image can actually make things worse. I mean, it can make it painful. I mean, if it's not set up right, you're in a darkened room and you chuck this thing on, you'll have headaches.
Yeah.
Don't do it properly. It could be, really unpleasant. So yeah, you could be paying that extra money for light that you not only do you not need, you don't want.
Right.
If the idea is, bright is better. Well, no, it's not. Not in in certain rooms, and things can get very nasty.
Yeah.
With HDR being what it is, and some of the mastering getting up there in the nit range, eye reactive is great, but you don't want eye searing.
Right. Oh yeah.
You don't want retina burning. you want reaction, not off to the hospital.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. John Thompson mentions it too. He's mentioned it a few times in his write-ups and everything about, like, you go to a regular theater and it's a 200-foot screen, and you're like, what's it putting out? And it's like, oh, it's only putting out 50 foot lamberts or whatever. And you're like, that's not very bright. Well, yeah, but if that's a whole screen. If that whole screen went white and lit up, you'd be like, if you got to or nits or whatever it is, you'd be like, it's only 50 nits or whatever. You'd be like, yeah, but you're like, why can't it do 300? Well, on a smaller screen, that's, it's completely different, because once you go bigger, that's a bigger light. At that size. So those brighter screens are going to feel brighter because everything is bigger. So but to get to that, you have to have a more powerful project. It's all literally is math. But yeah, so I mean, we're getting in the weeds here on this stuff, but it's again, there's so many variables to all this stuff to just do what they did. It's like, I understand what JVC was saying. Mine was more of the comparison and education that bothered me. And so, but yeah, it was funny to see that right after the show and be like, oh, it's back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. It gained some traction.
Yeah, it did. Yes, it
Not
did.
just the F1 cars. Andrew Panda just in the chat says you're absolutely correct on the F1 scene, DJ. Yeah, I mean it's true. I mean, we loved F1, didn't we? I mean, I'm looking forward to getting the 4K disc. But yeah, you want to see it how the director intended. You don't want to see it the way a projector manufacturer wants you to see it. Yeah. So yeah.
No. Yep, exactly. So all right. Let me see. I got an update here. Here's one coming up. Let me pull this up.
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses. So this weekend I had some time, and it's one of those things like it takes time to do stuff like this, but it was a lot of fun. So I added my Atmos speakers. I added two of the new. I purchased two of the new. What are they? The SVS Revolution Elevation. That's why they changed it, but the newer ones, right? There you go. So I put those up. Let me see. That's the rear channel. Boom. So there you go. Those are above on my side here. And then I moved the side channel, my surrounds to the back. So everything is lined up in the back of the room. So the surrounds are in the back of the room, lined up with the front of room speakers. So those are facing each other. And then I have the overheads right to my side. And then I'll scroll back and then boop, boop, boom. And this is what my front stage looks like. And what I did is I got a little shelf thing for the center channel, which is right under the display now. And then I got an SB 1000 Pro for the room. See, I was a little smaller.
Yeah.
I like it better. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's like, I'm not afraid to crank it up. So like I calibrated the room right. And now because it's a SB Pro, I can do it with my phone. So if a movie, I was like, and I usually don't mess around with that stuff too much, but it's this little tiny thing. And in this room, it just felt really tight, really nice. I don't know if I'm sure I could have dialed in the other one, but it's just so big that I was like, okay, I'm going to dial it back a little bit, because I did have nice space, but I could have blown the walls off this place with that one. But this one here I'm actually, I put the speakers, because they are close to the wall. I crossed them over at 100 with this. Everything was really, really clean, really nice. Still haven't added a ton more room treatments other than the drapes, all the heavy velvet curtains. But yeah, so the movies I did this week were Atmos. The one thing I haven't had a chance to do, I was hoping to do today, there was a movie I was going to do that I haven't done Neural X yet in this room with the Atmos around with the overheads. So but yeah, going to the Atmos was, we'll talk about it a little bit, but yeah. So yeah, really, really, really excited. A lot of fun.
And again, doesn't that say that will show that you don't, again, it's all dependent on your room, your environment, your setup. Yeah. You don't have to have a subwoofer that's so big you could ride on top of it.
No,
you can actually, sometimes smaller is better in certain rooms. I've had people with Cinema George. I mean, it's not big, single skin, single garage, garage, but it and I've got the two on wall subs, and people going, why haven't you got a sub so big you could move into it? And people saying, you need that. And I think, no, you don't. And if you've been here, you know that. You don't have to have these. I mean, as cool as those ones were at CEDIA, You don't always have to have washing machine size subs to get a really good sound. And so, and you proved it in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's like, I've been in rooms and heard rooms that they'd have more subs or less subs, but they're just cranked and they're too much. Right. And it's the thing is when you get it right, when you've heard it correct, dialed in, it doesn't sound as bassy. It just sounds like something big will come and like a big sound will come but then it just goes away. It's not that boo, 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 overbearing. And even like you mentioned, those big infrasonics in that room, it's like that room didn't sound like that. It just sounds even cleaner, but all the way down, you'd be like, poof. You're like, what the heck? There's not a speaker near you and you're sitting in the front row and your pant legs are moving, right? Because it's like, I mean, you in here, I could get a little bit of it, but I'm not far away from this stuff, but in that room, it's a huge, much bigger room than this. And you're like, and you feel it and that's what you're looking for with the infrasonics. It's not the big boo, boo, boo. But yeah, again, there's a job for everything. And it's like, you don't necessarily need that. And that's why I was like, kind of wanted to get that for this room. So like when I leave this behind, I don't mind. I'm not going to use that in my new theater. Maybe the overheads I'd use in the new theater, because that is what I'm going to be running 4 or 6 of those. See what I get at the time. But yeah, it's these things. I mean, the room is, like I said, we'll talk about it when we get into it. But yeah,
unless Ara does make you the very thin, very big speakers for the room.
I know, that's crazy, isn't it? He's like, oh, we'll do this. I'm like, all right, you're doing enough. Oh my God.
I think he was only 2 minutes away from agreeing to do an entire ceiling of speakers just that are like that thick.
Yep.
Like
wide. Yeah, he'd still be working on it right now. He put his house on hold. Got to get this done. So, but yeah. So moving forward now.
Good. Yeah.
Full Atmos. Again, we'll talk about it when we get to my first one for the week. But yeah, you wanna go first?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, take your pick.
All right. What do you want to do?
Well, should we try and get one off the list that's been on there a little while?
Which one?
That's it's been there since 25th of August. Oops. That's the one with the guy in the water in the middle there. That's him.
Got it.
With that one.
Got it. Yeah. I figured that's what you were going for. All right.
Been there a while. Let's get this done.
Here we go.
Okay. So this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. And I'm just going to confirm when it was, because I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's 2006, but I want to just make sure. I'm pretty sure it is. So this is on 4K disc, and it was, I'm just double checking now. The beginning. Yeah, 2006. Damn, I'm good. Right. Wow. So this is then the sequel to the prequel. That was made. So Marcus Nispel, Michael Bay do Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003, and then in 2006 they do this one, which is the prequel, which is odd, but there's money to be made, so we've discovered. And so this is 4K disc, Shout Factory release. Over here in the UK, it's a bit weird. They've released this one in 4K, but not released the sequel to this in 4K in the UK. There's a lot of K's in there.
Oh my God.
They have in America. So I'm going to be importing the 2003 one at some point. Anyway, so this is this is a bit of a strange one, this one, and I'm just double checking my notes on it. So it's 4K UHD HDR, but there is a choice in this of either 5.1 or 7.1. So you can have 7.1 DTS HD or 5.1 DTS HD. Sorry, Doug, did I say Shout? I meant Arrow. Yeah, apologies. Yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry, man. So now this is what's weird about it. So the movie is, only, horror completists need apply. It's got a very low IMDb rating. And the critics hated this. because this is about as schlocky, down and dirty, gory as a horror fan would want, and as every other person would not want. There's very little creative or artistic merit to this movie. It is just blood and guts and gore, and that's it. But I like it because I am that person. So I get that it is what it is, but it's not, not great. This is not high art by any means.
And it is rated R, so.
Oh yes, R. Yeah, it's like a pirate. Rated R. Oh, but he has got a knife in his mouth, like he's coming out of the water, like you see in all the pirate movies. But as a film, if you are into this kind of thing, it is good. If you're not into this kind of thing, don't bother. This is not one to warm you to the franchise.
I love that.
People get their faces cut off. People get, completely and utterly maimed and everything else. It was very gruesome. But where it's set, and the video is good. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be very grungy and dark, and Arrow can be a bit funny with some of their releases. We're going to talk about another good one, hopefully a bit later. But they can be a bit hit and miss sometimes. But this does look very clean. That image, I think, looks quite grainy there, but actually the movie is a lot cleaner. But as I say, the audio is where it's interesting, and I'd be curious to know whether you've ever encountered this, Deej. So, if I've got a choice between 7.1 and 5.1, I'm going with 7.1. I appreciate they're both upmixed to Duralex anyway, so why would I care? But there it is. So I selected 7.1. Now, what was odd about this is I found very quickly the center channel sounded very quiet. The audio, the dialogue was quiet compared to the effects, the surround speakers, as it were.
Yeah.
And I hadn't encountered that before, and I thought that's a bit weird. And as we always want to do, of course, it must be our system. Can't be the disc. Oh, hell no, of course not. No matter the fact you've just watched a movie right before it and it sounded fine. No, it must be my system. And so I thought, well, this is odd. And I was going through it and I was thinking, this doesn't sound right to me. So I thought, well, I'll try the 5.1 mix again. Both up mix, 5.1 mix, perfect. Absolutely fine, like the movie should be. Surround activity all around, sounds great, audio's great. I don't know why that would be. I don't know why a 7 mix would have a problem when they're both being upmixed.
Okay, so what do you have in your room? Do you have 7?
Yeah, 7.1. Yeah, well, 7.2.
You have a 7.
Yeah,
722.
Yeah.
But you're upmixing it to Neural X.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if that's weird.
It is weird. I've not had it happen before. Yeah, it's really strange.
Did you compare it? Did you compare the 7 and the 5.1 without upmixing it? Just the straight, just DTS 5.1.
That's time for that, Deej.
Okay, I don't have time for that. I know. I'm lucky you went back to 5.1.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that's weird. The only I can't. I'm like the only off the top of my head. I'm just thinking like maybe it's there's some stuff in like the mix. It gets sent to the center, but why would it go to the center channel?
Yeah, it's really odd.
But then when I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear the without upmixing it.
Yeah, the pure audio version.
Yeah, because that could be the Neural X trying to figure, because the processing for that is then going to take, like the information and move it. But it's like, but yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, quite honestly, it's more likely to just be the disc. Because Arrow have had their issues with their discs. I mean, it's not uncommon. But, it was fine because once I then put in the 5.1 mix, bearing in mind, again, up mix, as I say, it sounded great. And it's beefy and, you've got chainsaws moving all around and, you've got screams, blood and guts and squelches and squishes galore. And it sounds great. But I would warn people, if you've got a 7.1 system, if you're going to upmix it anyway, I would suggest the 5.1 mix if you have the same problems that I do. I mean, start with 7.1, see how you get on. But it is noticeably quieter, only in the center channel. The rest of it was fine, but it is noticeably less present than if you engage the 5.1 mix and then upmix that. Which, as I said, I've not encountered that before. That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
And again, immediately, of course, as I said, it must be my system. What's wrong with my system? It's not my system.
No. Nope.
So yeah, bit odd.
Yeah.
But still, again, if you're into this kind of movie, if you like this thing, then this is the way to see it. But just do be aware of the slightly odd mixing issue. But there we go.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Especially that's like one of those where we talk about like, oh, it didn't natively go to Atmos, right? You have to select the correct one. But yeah, that is weird.
I'm not even too sure why they bother with a 5.1 and a 7.1 these days. I mean, you're either going to do one or the other, you would have thought. So go with 5.1, knowing that most people are upmixing anyway.
And maybe that's why they did it. Like, that is weird. It is weird for like, again, I'd want to hear it just without the upmixing, and it's So I'm thinking that the upmixing might have been part of it because of the processing that it would do. It'd be like, oh, we're going to send this information here to do this. I don't know. Oh, well.
Yeah. But there we go. But it's you'll see it, as I said, if you're into this kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I am going to open with my usual. So, of course, here we go. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm just opening with that because that is what I do. So, so with the new Atmos setup in the real room, you got to play the opening to Star Wars at some point. So, yes, that's what I did. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Open with that. Listen to all the trumpets, the band, everything, and basically the opening scene. And it sounded fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. From there, I rolled right into this is probably becoming one of my staples for surround, like through Atmos surround, and how like the cleanliness and everything of it. And that is Sinners from this year. And the scene is like literally like halfway through the movie. And it's like really when the movie takes off and you're like, they told me this had Atmos in it. And there is going to be Atmos in this Atmos demo movie that they tell me about. Yep, there it comes, and this is it. You'll know it when you get to it, people, if you haven't seen the movie Sinners. And when it happens, it's glorious. It's the music, the conversations, the sounds of the people moving around the room. It was awesome. And with the Atmos, with the bass, it just, now I'd done this in the room, like I said before, where I have my surround channels elevated to, a little bit higher and then off to the side. And it gave a great effect. And now I'm running two channels, two Atmos channels directly to my side in a small room like this, even running 4. I was thinking of running 4, but I'm like, there's not really room. By the time you get there, it's like, where is it going to go? It's like, you're out of room. So you want the sound to come up and over you. And that's what it did. It's like, so that worked really well. And the way, to me, how I gauge stuff like this and why this scene here in Sinners is so good is that there are sounds in places that there aren't speakers, right? So like there's times when you can hear definitely, it's like it's meant to be coming from right there. But then there are other times where it's supposed to be like halfway down the room, and it was like right there, like not to the side, not like way off. I mean, and that's one of the fun things about Atmos too, is they can actually, do you want it to go like a pan, go left to right, and like say a car, not in this scene, but say a car drives off screen and it keeps going down the road all the way to the right, and it keeps going that way? Or do you want it to come back towards you down the room, like halfway down the wall? They can make both those happen with Atmos. They can pull that sound to you, or they can make it sound like it's driving away from you off to the right. And that's how they triangulate using the speakers in your room. And this scene here really nails it. The other scene that's really good for it, and I didn't do a screen grab on it, is was it Spider-Man Far From Home with Mysterio?
Far From Home.
The scene when it's like he's in the black suit, and they demoed this a couple of years ago at CEDIA ad nauseum, and it's like, that's a great Atmos scene. So I did that one as well. And that one, it's like the sound when Mysterio's talking to him, it's Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's like Peter, and it's like echoing over here, then it goes over here, then it goes over there, and it's like same thing. It goes to places that there isn't a speaker. That scene was absolutely, I was like, I think somebody did it this year, if I remember. Maybe I'm just remembering last year, but I thought I saw it demoed this year, and it is one of those scenes where you're like, oh my God. And then the other one I went to, and this is going to be interesting, Steve. Let me see if I can
Evil Dead Rise?
Nope. Where did it go? Here it is. All right. There it is. So I did a bunch of these scenes, and the scene that I was talking about before for the picture, but then that one has the sound, and there's the accident. So this is, I love this movie. It's on my list. But going from those movies to this movie, Steve, I can see exactly what people are talking about.
Okay.
Because it's not as loud.
Okay.
So when you jump right from, when you're doing scenes like I did here, when you're jumping from movie to movie doing specific scenes, then yes, this is, I know, like you and I are like, what are these people talking about? This movie's a great home theater experience. So I liken it to, remember we did Karate Kid like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, it's kind of grainy. And it's like, once you get used to it, you're like, all right, well, this movie, if you just push play on it, and that opening scene and the fireworks and the racing and all that, and you are drawn in, and it is awesome. And the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, that was great. Awesome. Drop a scene in after watching a scene out of Sinners or something like that, and you'll be like, it's not as loud. It just isn't. It just isn't. It's not as, it doesn't mean it's not, and notice I'm not saying it's not as dynamic. The dynamics are there. It's just doesn't, it just doesn't, it isn't recorded as loud. So when you jump from scene to scene, you're going to notice a difference. It's not like, obviously not like Ragnarok, but it is a lower, recording level. But yes, but that scene, the racing and the clarity is what I really liked about it, because, the final scene of this movie, when it's like, quote, he's flying or whatever, it's like, woo, it's like, that's where all the sound goes away. Remember? And it's like, you can hear him breathe. You can hear the clarity in that. And it's the details of this movie is really where it shines. So it's like, you don't need all that. And then the clarity of the engines, the clarity of the cars passing down the left and right, going around you like that. That's where it was like, okay, yeah, it is awesome. But then I don't think I don't have an image for it. But of course, 2:15 from Maverick, right? And you got to do that scene, and the barrel and the rolls and the tests, all of that, and just, and sitting in this chair. Oh, by the way, this chair was busted. That was another thing I had to upgrade in my theater this week. There was a bolt missing from the side of it. So I was sitting like this, like for like the last few weeks. I was like, I didn't even know. And then I noticed one day, I was like, oh, so let me fix it. Took all the thing apart, tightened all the bolts. I'm like, yeah, all right, this is nice. Anyways, sitting in this chair, watching Maverick, watching those scenes, you're like, oh my God. And then the barrel, it gives you, going from the 5.1 to the full Atmos experience, it just gives you more spaciousness and more accuracy on that stuff. And it's not, and I'll tell you right now, it's not a huge difference. As a matter of fact, when I first did it, I can't remember one of the first scenes I noticed. It wasn't in Star Wars, it was something else, because it was before that. I was still just testing it, and it wasn't in Atmos yet, because I've taken everything out and ran straight, Dolby 5.1 pure audio, and same for DTS, right? Because I didn't want to try so when I turned it on, it was just running 5.1. I'm like, all right, this sounds good. And I was like, wait a minute, I looked, there you go. And now all of a sudden the room came alive. Granted, the speakers were set up differently, but it is just way more spacious in here. And like I said, sounds where there aren't speakers, overheads are nice. What was the movie? There was something I was watching where we definitely do need floor speakers. I'm going to bring that back. We definitely do need that, because somebody on screen was looking down. I can't remember what it was. Somebody was looking down, and there was no way to put sound down there. But that was the other thing is in a movie, when you're watching a movie and they look off like this, if it's accurate to where it is, and maybe there isn't a speaker there, you're like, yeah, they're nailing it. So cool. Really, really cool. So a lot of fun just doing scene after scene after scene. The day I was doing it, the girls are out there, they're playing in their rooms, and Victoria comes in, just literally walks right in the room, stands next to me in the dark, just walks in the room, stands next to me. What you doing? I was like, watching scenes. Why? For my show. Are you doing your show today? No. Then why are you watching scenes? I have to do this before the show that I do on Tuesday so that I have it to talk about. Oh, okay. Walked out. All right. Let's check it in.
Good job you weren't watching Terrifier.
No, it was like, yeah, she came in and paused. I don't know what I was watching, but I was just standing there. What you doing? Just looking around. Oh, it was great.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so that was my, other than installing everything, that was the experiences, the first experience I had this week. And that's always fun. That's always fun.
Yeah.
So all right. What did you want to do next?
Do you want to do the one we talked about earlier that had its anniversary? Should we do that one? Because we're talking about Atmos movies. Where there isn't speakers.
Yeah, you're going to get me going on this one here. All right. Here we go.
Okay. Alrighty. So this then is a blast from the past. This is then the Sony disc 4K UHD Dolby Atmos version of, and the extended version of Black Hawk Down. And why I hear you cry, well, you know, Deej, but those in the wider world, why did I hear you cry? Did I choose this week of all movies? Bearing in mind the disc came out in 2019, I think it was, according to Blu-ray.com. It's because on Saturday and Sunday, it was the 32nd anniversary of the real incident. And I've been watching Long Way Home recently on Apple TV Plus, which got Ewan McGregor in it. And of course, he's in this, as is just about every young actor in Hollywood at that time, including Tom Hardy, who is in it a lot more than I seem to remember. And lots and lots of people in this. So Ridley Scott movie, as I say, the extended version. This is definitely not a director's cut, and not the typical Ridley Scott director's cut, where his versions, his extended editions, tend to really add heft and weight and importance to the new scenes. This, I think, is a superfluous extended edition. There's nothing wrong with just sticking with the theatrical one, but I had the extended one, so I watched that. The movie it's hard to call a movie so dark and bleak as this is a masterpiece, but it's not far off. I mean, it's an excellent war movie that I think people forget to include in the pantheon of war movies. Everyone talks about Saving Private Ryan and Full Metal Jacket and Hamburger Hill and Apocalypse Now and all the soon. And everyone talks about those. And Tropic Thunder. Everyone talks about these these masterpiece war movies and forgets Black Hawk Down. And I think it should be in that argument or in that conversation. So great movie. And this is the second time I've now watched this 4K disc. I watched it when I bought it. So video wise is again, actually, this is a bit like Karate Kid in some ways, in that it is very grainy at times. I mean, that's deliberate. That's not a problem with the encode. It is supposed to be grainy, but it kind of comes and goes, but it can be a bit distracting, I think, at times. But other times, and for the majority of the runtime, it looks ludicrously detailed, crazily detailed, and you see close-ups of Ewan McGregor's eyes when when there's an explosion and there's debris on him, and you see a close-up of his eye looking through the debris. I mean, that is just crazily detailed. Close-ups on Josh Hartnett's face there, Jason Isaacs, Eric Bana. I mean, they all look, every bead of sweat, every pore and pockmark, every little nick and dent in the rifles is ridiculously sharp, and it really does look three-dimensional for most of the movie. So it looks great in 4K. This is the way to see it. And and then the audio. Now, this has got an Atmos track that in terms of the bass, you and I were talking before the show. In terms of the bass, it's not Lucy, it's not Saving Private Ryan in terms of that either. It doesn't go ultra deep. It's not Warfare. In fact, I mean, we're talking other war movies. It's not. It doesn't go ultra deep, but it is still hefty bass, and it is as immersive an Atmos track as you are sensibly likely to find. And you talk, Deej, about sound coming from places where there are no speakers and audio creeping up the side walls and back down again. There's radio chatter in this that really did stand out. There is an entire radio chat going on 3/4 of the way up the wall, and you can look at the wall and think, well, that's where it's coming from. Well, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's the Matrix thing in the Atmos. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, the rotor blades of all the helicopters going around, the gunshots ricocheting and hitting hither and yon, the different calibers of the rifles and the guns being used. The constant envelopment. This is a demo Atmos track again, push play demo, DJ, because right at the beginning you get the again Ridley Scott's favorite sort of kind of haunting kind of music and lyrics, and so you're looking in front of you at your screen. It is, again, it's like they've just pushed the walls away, and you've just got this huge wide sound expanse, and there's wind blowing through as you can hear this music going, and that is moving across the room and around and to the back, and then you get the kind of the more percussive music kicks in, and then you get helicopters and guns and just everything going, and it does not stop. And this movie, 2 hours 30, 2 hours 40, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. It's awesome. It really is. Now, and I remember you doing a show on this. I'm sure you did. And I remember listening to that and thinking, I've seen that, and I remember this bit. And so some of that was still echoing in my mind as I was watching it. But I mean, you were right. I like to think I'm right. It's awesome.
It is. It's I've had this queued up for a while on Kaleidoscape, and I'm like, been dying to see it. And then I saw you drop it in, and I'm like, oh, that's what I said to you before showing. There's so many of these times I'm like, I want to do that one too. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, it is really just because, like you said, the movie itself is so good. And it's a tough watch, but not a tough watch, because it is so, like, as a guy, it's the helicopters, it's the guns, it's the everything. But then it's where you go, if you didn't know this really happened, you'd be like, what a great movie. That's entertaining. It's the fact that you're like, oh my God, it's actually tied to reality. And you're like, which is, grounding, humbling, and all of that. You just, but the home theater experience, and that's where, the world we're living in right now, like, you're just like, it's like, how do you not sit back and go, oh my God, and marvel at all this, and just be like, how do you do that? It's, I mean, it is a shame that there are people, living this life, and they're like, yeah, that sounds really coming from there, and it's a gun. It's like, and we're like, that's entertaining. No, it's not. It's like, but yeah.
I mean, I think, didn't this win an Oscar for sound design? I think it may have done.
I think it did.
I'm pretty sure it did. As I was watching it, I'm thinking, I'm sure.
The 4K came out in 2019, but the Blu-rays were out. I think this was one of the ones that may have been on both Blu-ray and HD DVD. And I might have had both. I can't remember.
Sony disc it wouldn't have been. It was Sony, so it would have only been Blu-ray. There's no way they would have released that.
They would have done it. You're right. But yeah, maybe that's what, and that's why I was glad I had both, because there were those movies that you wanted to get both, and then they were like, I need to have both HD DVD and Blu-ray because I need Black Hawk Down, or I need Swordfish. I think was on. I think that was
on both. Yeah.
But this movie here, when that came out on Blu-ray, you're like, oh my God. Yeah. It was, such a good movie. And it's like, again, it's the other thing that's daunting is it's the length. It's like, do you know,
Yeah,
if you don't have a lot of time, you're like, oh, it's like, what did you say? It was like 240 or something like that, 230.
Yeah, 150 odd minutes. The extended one. It's only about 5 to 6 minutes longer than the theatrical one. There's not.
Yeah.
It's not day and night different. But yes, but it's a time investment, no question.
Yeah. Tom Sizemore is so great in this. Loved how his character behaved. I felt like Tom Sizemore is in this, if I remember right, is like he's like the character, like the people you didn't like in Warfare, right? Like he would just go stand by the window and be like, they don't have the, you know, whatever to shoot me. Like,
he goes up and shakes the hand of someone who's hiding behind taking cover, and he's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Just walking around. It's like, that's, you know, and I can respect that. It's just like, look, with my time, it's my time. Just walk down the street. You're like, you know, if you've seen what I've seen, don't worry about it, because you can take all the cover you want and then they blow the whole building up. So I'm just going to go about my business.
He is really good at it. Yeah. But what I found interesting in this particular watch, now I've seen this film many times. I mean, this is, you know, absolutely not even close to, a first watch for me. But I did notice, and there was a lot of criticism about some of the verisimilitude of it. You know how they write their names on their helmets. Now that is not done. They don't do that in real life. But Scott did it because he said, look, they all look the same when they've got their uniforms on.
Yes.
And you aren't going to know one from another without their names on their helmets. And I've certainly been guilty in the past of watching this and thinking, yeah, I don't know who's who. They do all look alike, other than I know that that's Eric Banner, and I know that that's, you know, William Fichtner, and I know that, you know, and yet this time around, bizarrely, bearing in mind, second time I watched the disc, I could tell who people were more clearly because of the 4K, because of the detail. You can see the differences. You can take it on board. Hence why I say I was surprised at how much Tom Hardy is in this. Yeah, he just kind of melded into the background when I watched it before, but this time it's like, oh, there he is. Oh yeah, there he is. Oh, he's got lines now. Oh, look, you know. So that's something.
That's good.
This must be the 10th watch at least.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of it too. When you've seen it multiple times, you start to focus it and be like, oh, I don't have to focus on who's that. You already know, right? You're like, you're paying attention to other things in the movie. So but that's like that name on the helmets and stuff is like every space movie. They all have these full shields and lights inside. And in real life, in the blackness of space, if you have lights inside the helmet, you can't see anything because you'd see your own reflection. It would turn so it's like they only light them up so that you know what actor's in there, because if they didn't have lights, you'd only see the reflection of everything on the outside. So it's like in real life, that doesn't work. It's like, but yet every space movie, they're all lit up. It's like,
well, same with every movie you see where they're in a car at night. There's always lights on in the car, and you're like, well, you never drive like that because you can't see.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, well, you got to do it because you need to see there's people in that car.
Yeah. Oh, that's like when I'm driving with somebody and in the middle of the night and they'll, it's dark out and they turn on their phone and they're just scrolling on their phone. And you're like, I'm trying to drive here. It's like, this eye is that dilate. I'm like, what are you doing?
That always bugs me. I get it. Also, actually, the other one, DJ, Big Bang Theory, again, as you know, going through them, notice how they always remove the headrests in the seats. Oh, yeah. You can see in the back.
Because you see the people in the back.
Yeah. It's very noticeable. And I'm sure illegal in the US. It would be here. But yeah, so that kind of always makes me laugh as well. Just gone.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, great film, this one, and well worth seeing it again. Loads of people in the chat have got it, and saying I need to see it again. Do so. It's well worth seeing. It's as good as you remember.
It didn't get worse.
No, luckily. Yeah. And each not shot in Spain.
No, and rated R. So you got that.
There we go. Right up my alley.
There you go. All right. Kind of gave this one away a little earlier, but we will revisit. Gave this away with my demo there. So this is the first full movie that I took place in Atmos. Here we go. All right. Talking Casper from 1995.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah,
1995. And this here is, I mean, it dropped last week on Kaleidoscape in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. And I was really, really excited for this because, I think it was last year I talked about it. I got it on Kaleidoscape, and it was like, I think, didn't I say during the show last week, it was like $4.95 upgrade or something like that?
Yeah, you did.
The new version. So I did that. And yeah, so we'll get to the sound in a second, but the picture on it, grainy. I was a little bit less than impressed. I wasn't really blown away. I mean, it was nice. I didn't really notice a ton of other detail or anything like that I hadn't seen before. Like I say, with a lot of the Dolby Vision stuff, the brights are brighter. And which that's just going to pop and make it. And it's nice in this. But it's not exactly, I didn't feel like you walked away going, oh, wow, it's a demo disc for picture or anything like that. It was just, it really was just like, okay. But it doesn't take away from the movie by any stretch. It is grainy. It's an old, it's from 1995. But this is the best it has ever looked, in my opinion. I've owned this on Laserdisc. The reason I like this movie so much is it used to be a joke, because it was like, why am I buying this Laserdisc? But at the time, that was like when DTS first came out. It was literally, I think it was like the second demo disc for DTS, like that everybody talked about. The first, of course, being Jurassic Park. That was the first DTS Laserdisc that came out. It was the first DTS movie ever. But Casper came out, same DTS 5.1 audio track. And that back then, that was a big deal because everything was Dolby. We had Dolby Surround, Dolby Pro Logic. Now we're getting into Dolby. At the time, it was called AC3, which was discrete audio, which is what, 5.1. Up until then, it was, 4 channel. You had your 3 fronts and 1 channel for the rear, and then your 0.1. So, but Casper being a DTS master audio, or not even master audio, but DTS 5.1 back then. And it was like demo material on your Laserdisc. You'd fire up your 32-inch television. Everybody'd squint to see the little picture, but then the sounds would move. The ghosts would move around the room. And it was a big deal. So the Atmos, I'm not sure it ages that well.
I have told you this.
It was like, no, just the Atmos. I'm like, we've heard such good Atmos. We've heard all this stuff, and it does. It sounds really good. This is the best it's ever sounded. And as I'm saying it, I remember the scene. It was like there was a scene when they were looking down, and the ghost was supposed to be coming up out of the floor, but there's no speakers on the floor. That's what it was. So, but this is very accurate to what it was. It is like the ghosts are moving around because you have the other 3 ghosts, you have Casper, you have this, there's echoes that go on. Very, very nice. It's really, really good. But compared to today's stuff, it's like, okay. But for a kid's movie, if you're like, Johnny Speakers texted me and he's like, gonna introduce the family to this one. Great movie for that. Absolutely great movie for that. Great picture. Great sound for that, right? But if we're gonna compare this to, to today's stuff, like when obviously I'm not expecting them to take Casper and do what they did with Twister, right? But because nobody was demanding it, that's a lot of time and money there. But again, it's the best it looked, the best it sounded. It's just not the best it looks and sounds compared to today's best looks and sounds.
It doesn't stack up.
Saying? Yeah, it just doesn't stack up. So it is nice to have. It's definitely worth having if you have kids and you want to show off your system. This is definitely a movie to do that. If you just, you're just like into action movies, you probably skip this one. I won't, because if they upgrade it again, I'll buy it because it's part of the nostalgia for me. Right. And it was, that's, going back to the Laserdisc days.
You and I have talked about my views on this. I mean, I loved it when it came out. I really did. And I bought the VHS, which would have been then. And then I bought the DVD. I never bought the Blu-ray. and I rewatched it a few years ago, and I thought it had aged horribly. And I just didn't. And I was watching it with someone who was age appropriate, and I was, or more age appropriate, and I watched it with them, and I could feel myself kind of cringing at some of this, and I didn't think it had aged terribly well. So I won't buy the 4K disc. I don't need to see it again. This needs to live in my memory, not in my reality. It needs to live in my past, not my present, and definitely not my future. And so it was great at the time, and it just needs to remain there for me. So, but I get what you're saying, and I'm sure, because this was one of the Amblin movies. So you had Jurassic Park, you had this, then you had Twister, which again another Amblin mixed movie, and these were these DTS staples. And so when we didn't have a lot of choice, you had to go to this. But we do have a choice now.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking back, and I looked up like what were like the top DTS laser discs back then, and it was like obviously you had Jurassic Park was in '93, that came out in '93, the movie itself. The laser disc came out in '94. But then you had so 93, so 94, Casper in 95. You had Apollo 13 also in 95.
Yes.
That was a drop. That was a DTS. Oh my God, the bass in that, amazing. Here's one in 96, going year, Daylight.
Well, yes.
That one was, oh my God. That one was like, I couldn't. That was, I watched that movie over and over on laser, because you had the echoes, right? You had in the tunnels and everything.
Water and
oh my God. That, and then 97, I believe, you had Titanic, and then you also had Twister. I think Twister was 97.
Twister 96.
Was Twister 96 with Daylight? Okay.
Yeah. Well, notice they were both came out from the Steam label, didn't they? The German label. Remember we had the
yeah, that's right. Yep. So but then I mean, that's those right there. That's what those are the movies that kind of put DTS on the map.
Dante's Peak as well.
Yes. Dante's Peak. I had that laser disc. Yep. What year was that one?
That was 97. Was that 97?
Was that 97? I own it I have it on Kaleidoscape.
Yeah. I'll tell you now.
Let's see. Dante.
Survey says 97.
97. Yep.
Yeah. That was another one. I remember the DTS logo. Same with the DVDs. When they came out on DVDs, they had the DTS logo over the top as well.
Yep.
And that was one of those that they released with that on. So that would have been one of them as well. I'm trying to think of the others that were out that time. Volcano was out, of course, same time.
Volcano, but I don't know if that was DTS.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Okay.
Yeah.
But
there was. I had Dolby AC3, I think, was The Great Train Robbery, the old one with that was a Michael Crichton book, but then it was like an older movie. That one came out in AC3. I had that laser disc. Was that Michael Caine?
I know one very important AC3 movie that you really enjoyed, and that, of course, was Judge Dredd. Which would have been, it wasn't DTS, but it would have been AC3, because that would have been about the only reason to buy it.
Yeah, and return it. So there you go. All right.
And on that bombshell.
And on that bombshell. Exactly. Oh my God. All right. What do you want to go with?
Do you want to do my latest edition Arrow one? Because then that's bang up to date, because that only came out yesterday. Yeah, that's the one. And I'm curious to know what you think of this movie. So
it's been a while.
So quite. Yeah. All right, let's do this one then. And I know at least one person in the chat's already seen it as well. All righty. So this then is the very newly released in the UK as of yesterday, as I say, release of Spawn. Arrow release, 4K UHD, DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, and two versions in the set, the theatrical version and the director's cut. And the director's cut adds a whole 3 minutes of extra footage.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I don't quite know why they bothered, but they did. And at least, in fairness to Arrow, they give us both, so you can choose. Now, have you seen it? I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But not recently.
No, I haven't seen this in a while. And let me check. No, I don't think I own it on Kaleidoscape. They have it. I did look. Let's see, because there was a time. Let me see. No, I don't. They have it in HD. There was a time where I couldn't get enough Spawn. I was reading it, and yeah, exactly. So
yeah, well, this will quite. I mean, the character. I've never read the comics. I love how they look. You know, I love the design of the comic. I mean, Todd McFarlane's, fantastic. And I'd seen the comic covers, and they do look amazing. And this character is amazing. And if ever there's a movie that is crying out for a proper remake, is this. And I know Todd McFarlane's been trying to get it off the ground forever, and there's a rights problem, and there are all kinds of issues. And this was released by New Line, and of course they sold and resold, and the rights have gone all over the place. So this film is crying out for a proper remake. Anyway, a bit like you, I had seen this movie. I've seen it a number of times, but hadn't seen it for ages and ages, and I've never owned it, neither on DVD or Blu-ray. And in fact, of course, it would have been VHS, because this is what, 90. I'm gonna have to double check now. 97, I think. Again, I think this might be. Let me double check. Spawn, 97. Oh, there we go. What is it with the 90s movies this week?
Yeah.
So 1997, this one. And so I'd never owned it before. But it came out here yesterday in 4K, and I thought, well, why not? If we're going to see it again, let's do this. So the movie is, I mean, it's hard to describe this film in terms of, is it a bad, good movie? Is it a good, bad movie? Is it a guilty pleasure? Is it any kind of pleasure? And I'm very conflicted on this. It's because it is bananas. It makes no sense whatsoever. None of it hangs together. It's all very, very odd, but it's entertaining. And there are some good bits in it, and there are some interesting things. And I was never bored. It is a whole 98 minutes long. So it's bare bones. It doesn't mess around. There's not a lot of characterization. It just gets straight into it. And I would be lying if I said I don't find it entertaining. I do. Whether that's because I'm enjoying it, or because, laughing with it or at it, I don't know. But it is entertaining, and I'm glad I've got it. So movie, yeah. You either love it or you hate it. And, there are a lot of people that really hate it. So, as I said, film is the film. Now, what I am pleased to report is, again, having said, as I often do, that Arrow can be hit and miss with their releases. Sometimes the master that by the way, that's not a criticism of the company. I think they do always try their best, but I think they're reliant on the master they're given by the filmmakers, the studios, whoever it might be. There's only so much you can do with it, which is why I think some of them are hit and miss. This one, though, is a hit, both video and audio. Now you can get an idea from that image there, because these are animated menus. It is really, really sharp. Now that is both a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing for all the live action footage, because the live action footage looks really, really good. I mean, the burns on the character's face there all look suitably horrible and nasty, and all the various things that John Leguizamo's character is eating looks absolutely gruesome. It's very detailed. There's not a lot of grain. There's not loads of kind of print speckles or anything like that. It looks really nice, and a lot of the dark scenes all look suitably inky. There's not a lot of crush. It looks okay. So that's the good thing about it. The bad thing is, as Dom has already hinted at, the CG that was always dreadful. I mean, this is an example of really, why did we do CG? Because if you can't do it right, don't do it.
Well, you got to remember, they were also doing it back before HD existed.
Well, indeed, yeah. Well, quite.
But they weren't expecting. It's kind of like Jaws and the marker eye.
Yeah.
They weren't expecting the detail that we get today. So they could get away with stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was bad then. As Tom says, and now it's even worse. So the CG on this is woeful. I mean, it's sub video game stuff, even for the time. I mean, the CG really is bad. There's no getting away from that. And the Malebolgia kind of devil thing just is like, what the hell, so that is not helpful. But in terms of the live action footage, as I say, it's very nice. Now the audio is a very pleasant surprise. So now, the bass on this, I mean, it is thin. I mean, there's nothing really deep bass on this, but you don't tune into a movie from '97 that hasn't been tinkered with and expect deep bass, and you don't get that. But what you do get here with this 5.1 mix up mixed to Neural X is a very almost constant enveloping mix right from the beginning. It starts with a kind of swooping flames and all that stuff, and that goes right around the room, and it goes up into the overheads, and straight away I'm thinking, oh wow, okay, what am I in for here? And all the way through it, again, there are storms, there's thunder, there's lightning, moving around. You've got gunfire. You've got, all these things. And John Leguizamo's character talking in the rear speakers and off to the side and all this stuff. The audio on this is surprisingly good. As long as you're not expecting, Lucy, if you're not expecting that, and you shouldn't, then you will be very, very pleased with the audio on this. I was genuinely surprised at how good the audio was on this. I thought it was going to be all front heavy, that because I don't think it was a very big budget movie even then, but this sounds awesome in upmixed to Neural X. So, if you're prepared to tolerate the movie, there are some that won't. But if you are, this is a great home theater version of a good bad or a bad good movie. So whatever that is, that's what it is.
All right. So, I've been messing with the idea of actually watching the HD version, and even before this, it's like when I saw you had it, I was like, oh, that's fine. Yeah. But I still haven't bought it. It's only $10 on Kaleidoscape for the HD.
Okay. Well, yeah. Would it be worth seeing if the Arrow's coming out anytime soon? Or because I don't think it'll be a lot. It was £25 here, which is probably £25 too much for it, but still, it is. This is the way to see it, DJ. I mean, I wouldn't jump for the HD version having seen this. I would wait and see if this does drop, because I think you'd be very, very pleased with it. And Dom says, Steve, you always make me buy the movie just for the good sound mix. Dom, you will enjoy the sound mix on this. Yeah. Based on what we've been. Dom and I have been DMing about various movies, and based on what I know you like and the setup you've got, you'll get a real kick out of the audio on this. And Dom says, but when it's on sale, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
We take it.
I've bought so many movies just for the sound mix. Like I said, Casper. That wasn't a movie that I was like, I saw it in theaters and I was like, oh, but I wanted that sound mix. There was a buzz about that back then. And it was like, I gotta have it,
Yeah. Well, you could definitely pick this up just for the sound. One with a decent surround sound system is going to be disappointed with the sound mix on this, because it is straight from the beginning, right into it. And whatever else you might think of the movie, the audio is good.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Well, I'd say we could end on a high note with that, but I'm gonna take your great sound mix and I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna multi up you.
I know what it is.
I know you know it. Now you do. I was gonna drop this in just for you earlier this week, but I was like, no, because this is an Atmos. Yeah, this is an Atmos. It's funny when you see the image and it's like the thing, but here you go. But everybody at home, it's like, even the YouTube people, like, what is he talking about? There's no image. There's no nothing. The audio people are like, yeah, we never get an image. So,
well, they've had a clue with the full moon.
Yeah. If you look at the image too, see, when you see it, it kind of looks like a moon because it's
I can see. Yeah, I can see
on it.
The flash.
So, yeah. All right. Have we teased them long enough?
We have. Right. Let's do this.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. All right. Late to the party, but it's still 2025.
It is.
Wolfman. Wolfman? Wolf? There is going to be a Wolfman in the Wolfman?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So that was, so we're talking Wolfman, and you had raved about this.
The audio, yeah.
The audio, yeah. And we'll get to that. Oh my God.
What did you think of the movie? Tell me about the movie. Did you want to know what you think?
I liked it.
Okay.
I really did. I liked the movie. I liked, maybe because my like, what do you want to call it? What, like
Expectations.
expectations or whatever? There was another word I was looking for. Expectations were lowered or whatever.
Mm.
But it makes sense. It's not Wolfman, it's Wolfman, right? And it's, I mean, it is, I get it. It's not the Wolfman you were looking for. This is not the Wolfman you were looking for. Move along. So, but yeah, exactly. This is not the Wolfman you were looking for. Move along. Okay. But it makes sense. It's the title makes sense. It is a wolf. The whole entire thing. It's like, I get it. The story I thought was really, really good. And if you don't know, if your expectations aren't up for a, old fashioned Wolfman movie, then you would be open to what this story is about. The family, this, that, and that I really enjoyed. Did you have a problem with that, or was it just?
Well, I never thought he was a wolf. He never became a wolf. Never acted like a wolf. To me, it just felt like it was in a zombie movie.
Yeah,
just because you could quite easily call this man, and you wouldn't think, well, why is he turning into a wolf?
Crazy man.
Yeah, well, indeed, he looked into like a mountain man. It's more The Hills Have Eyes than.
Well, it's like, it's it's not a spoiler or anything like that, but it's like he's a wolf man, but his hair's falling out. What?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, was he a bald wolf? What the hell? What the heck? It's like,
yeah.
But that was all. I mean, that wasn't the undertone. That wasn't what the movie was about, though. The movie was you know what I mean? It's like what the movie was actually about I thought was really good. It was, like the father son at the beginning, the end, the family dynamic and what's going on. And all of that together, it just was like, I mean, it was sad. It was scary. It was graphic. We'll get to that when we're talking about picture and sound and stuff. But I thought entertaining wise, I mean, this was rated R, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
compared to Invisible Man that he did before,
no, it's not Invisible Man, story wise. But let's get to the home theater experience though,
which is undeniable. There's no.
My God, let's talk picture first. I thought the picture was really good. It didn't blow me. It was very, very dark movie. There are some ridiculously dark scenes because it needed to be. Okay. And they genuinely needed to be, because it was like what they were trying to portray in these dark scenes is like no light whatsoever. But again, like you're not going to see the actor if you did that. They literally did do it a couple of times. There was nothing, right? The whole room goes black, but you hear noises. But it's like, but then they put the light on, and this is where, okay, this display was closer to a projector than it was, because then it wasn't the deep dead on blacks that you would get with an OLED. But at the same time, I was like, okay, but it was just, I mean, those scenes were, if you're not calibrated, your black levels aren't calibrated right, you'll be like, this is awful. This is, so that I thought it's like, this is where I would say it's not a reference level movie for picture, because that's not stuff you're going to demo, right? You're not going to be, look how dark this is, everybody. Be like, yep, there's nothing there.
They do play with it quite nicely, don't they? Because you get a bit where it's pitch black, then the camera moves and you then get his vision.
Yes, that's what I was going to go to, where the HDR plays in. It's like now you get his vision. And earlier on in the movie, you don't know, like at first it's like they're using that as like what he hears, and we'll get to that in a second, but what he's seeing, and at least for me at that part of the movie, I didn't even know that's what we were seeing until they brought it back in, and you were like, oh, that's more realistic. And it was like, oh my God. And if that's where, yes, you go from literal pitch black screen, nothing, absolutely nothing on the screen at some scenes, and then these other scenes that are like literally blown out, like on purpose. And it's like, but with color and like edge enhancement in there, everything. and the HDR on that, the brightness on that, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And this is, like I said, this is on Kaleidoscape with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, and that was gorgeous. But again, where I would say reference, it would be like, you've got to have some demo material where you would be like, now maybe those couple of scenes where you did shift, you would do that. But for the most part, it's not like I thought F1, that is like sharp, crisp stuff like that. Or if you're looking for really bright stuff like, Multiverse of Madness or Thor Love and Thunder, where you'd be like that, you bring somebody in a room. But again, none of those made our top 10 of home theater experiences. But as for picture alone, that's where you're like, well, this stuff here is more nuanced in Wolfman, which I thought was good. I mean, it's really good. The Atmos. Oh.
I did tell you.
Let me say that again. Oh. It's like, oh my God.
Push play.
Yeah. Push play. Yeah. Push. Yes. Push play demo. Make sure your Atmos is on correct. Make sure you're at reference level, because I had turned this on and I was like, I wasn't, and it started playing. And I was like, wait, back it up, get it to reference level, start again. It is awesome. It is
from the Universal logo, right from the logo, before you see anything else, you get that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's I want to say it's like 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes of demo until what? Like, I think you're on the streets of New York or something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Right when that ends, that bit there with the breath, and
right. But even that, if you're going to use this push play demo, don't stop it right there, because I think what they did in this is they use that opportunity to go from nature to, the concrete jungle, right? Because the atmospherics change in there.
Yeah.
And they do use sound and lack of sound in this movie as well, a lot of times. But that opening scene in the forest, in the hearing the noises, searching. I mean, it is a horror movie, so you're like, what's going on? What are we looking for here? You're waiting for now the sound goes away, but you hear the footsteps hitting the twigs or stepping or crunching and doing. I mean, it's moving around. They're looking. This is another one where the father and son at the beginning, and they look, and you're like, yeah, where is it? Where is it? It is awesome. It is awesome. And that's the push play demo that, absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's, PG push play demo. You could do nothing.
Yeah, no. I think you'd scare little kids.
Bambi even makes it. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's like,
but then Dom says, because just looking at the time, but Dom then appropriately calls the spider sequence.
Yes,
that's when I told you about the way back when. I mean, wow,
that's when your subwoofer calibrated correctly, and that's where you start to realize what you're listening to and seeing, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, and it's like, he's a spidey sense if you want, right? And it's like, and you're like, and it's matching up. That was weird, freaky, scary. You're like, that was awesome. But then I think that the real demos in this are those scenes that you said where you shift, and it's like a couple of them I watched a few times, because there's dialogue in there between the two parties that you're like, do they understand? Oh no. And you're like, what does he say? And what, back and forth. It's really, really good, but it shifts in your room. The picture changes, everything. It's just, beginning to end. It's like, how is this not, I don't know. See, this year, all I kept thinking by the end of this movie as it's wrapping up is, I'm like, is this going to be the hardest year on what is the top? Our top fives are all going to be number ones. They have to be. It's that good. It's like, I don't know. It's like everything. There's so many this year, but this one here is absolutely up there. It's a must own, and it's how long was this one? This an hour and hour 43. Hour 43. I just looked. Yeah. So it's not that long, but yes, it's. Don't go in thinking you're getting the Wolfman and the but you're getting, but you're getting, I mean, it's a good story and an amazing home theater experience. Absolutely amazing home theater experience.
It'll be in my top 5, 100%. I definitely, because no matter what whatever disappointment I might have felt with the film, and I was disappointed. I love werewolf movies, as I keep saying,
right.
As a werewolf film, I think Wolfman, the Joe Johnston one's better than this. But in terms of the HT, there is no arguing with this. You can't say, no one can say that the home theater experience is not, in terms of the audio, definitely absolutely top notch. I mean, it's a stunning mix.
Yes.
And I mean, we've just talked 2 scenes, but there are the whole thing.
It's beginning to end. It's beginning to end audio wise. Yeah. Beginning to end audio wise, because there are the quieter scenes. There are and there's a lot of tense scenes where you're listening around your room for what is coming next. And again, like I said earlier, like, where is that sound placed? Is it placed halfway down the room? Is it placed in the distance off to the side of the screen? Is it and look at where the characters are looking. One odd choice in the movie is when you're running away from something, why you would get up on top of a plastic shed. I have no idea. That did not make sense to me whatsoever. You'll see it when you see it and go, whose idea was that?
Yes. Okay. Or to run to the truck that didn't start. So let's go back there and try it again.
Yeah. Let's sit on top of a tarp.
The movie has definite issues, as I say, but like no arguing with the quality of the presentation. Yeah. And I mean, this is a movie you can watch just for the audio.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as again, I was disappointed with it, but I loved the home theater experience. I mean, but that,
Yep. So, all right. We will leave it at that. So, all righty. All right. Yep. Looking at the time to wrap up. I'm actually skating tonight and lots to do. So, but yeah, get Steve to bed. And
yes, I'm hoping to sleep tonight. That would be nice.
There you go.
Yeah, late one last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So definitely hoping for a decent night's sleep tonight. That's what's got to happen. Van Gore saying now I need to watch Wolfman. Yeah, Van Gore, if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a go. Yeah,
absolutely.
You might want to rent it maybe, but it's
rent it, get the Atmos, but get it in Atmos, and awesome, absolutely awesome. It's like you said, push play demo, and so good. All right, that'll do it for this week. We'll be back next week, of course, and so thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks to all the listeners. Thanks for all the comments that we got in the last few weeks, talking about, we're getting emails about the companies feuding and all the other information. And the 25-hour show is coming up November 1st this year. It'll be Saturday, November 1st. Start 6 a.m. So 3 weeks away. Start 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Sunday morning. So getting things lined up. And
with the earlier start, that means we'll be starting at 8 o'clock our time.
Oh, you've already changed your clock?
Well, no. But when you do, because that's when you do the show, don't you? So for that 2 or 3 weeks, we tend to get.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 8 o'clock your time. Oh, this show, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, having said that, I think we might go at the same time then. I've got a feeling because normally it's the last week of October. Ours go fall backwards. So actually, it might just be the same.
Might line up. But, ours is always, since we've been doing this is the 3rd year of it. We start, ours is always on Saturday, the first Saturday of November, which happens to be November 1st this year.
I think it lines up then. I think it's the same time.
So we set the clocks back at 2 a.m. So we're lining up the people. Joe and Joe Kluznik listened to the show today. He's already been in, and Brett, I got a text going with them right now about lining up time. So so we're getting the gang all lined up. So we'll be talking more about that as we come up closer to it. Again, 3 weeks away, November 1st, 6 a.m. bright and early. I got to get Todd going, see if make sure he's there. So he's the one that started all this. So, but all right, that will do it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Until next time, you know what you got to do.
Go push play. What he said.
That's right.
Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.